Hey there, guys. I promised that I had somebody in my life who had shared his near death experience and how it had touched his life and also motivated some very vast changes, along with just perhaps that this could help other people who either maybe experienced it or are afraid to experience it or think maybe they did and they're trying to put it out of their mind type of thing, just to put some of the ease and the comfort around it, as well as just a sense of peace and maybe some joy in it. So here is BJ Bronstead to share his personal experience.
I guess.
So BJ, the audience has been wanting to know, well, how did this happen to you?
Basically, I found myself, for lack of better words, sick and not taking care of myself, kind of beating myself up and let a lot of things go, and found myself sick. And during that time of being sick and cared for, I had this experience.
And when it was occurring, when you're going back in it in your mind, were you aware that you were nearly dying at the time?
No.
Okay. So those around you that found you in this incapacitated state, at what point did they say, I think he's dead?
I don't know. They told me after the fact. I was sick for quite a while, and I was out of it while I was recovering. I was in and out of consciousness and in and out of sleep, and obviously in and out of my body, as I found out later. It wasn't until I actually watched a couple other videos on YouTube about it, and because nobody could explain what had happened, and so I really didn't talk about it, because not only was I sick because I wasn't taking care of myself, right? So I wasn't eating healthy and I let my whole physical body go, and it wound me in a place of being sick for it. But on top of that, I had this weird experience that I'd never had before, and I didn't realize exactly what it was until I started kind of putting the puzzle pieces together. So talking to some of the caregivers who were there, and they said at a certain point, I had stopped breathing, I had no pulse, and they were basically going to pronounce me dead. And shortly thereafter, when they were about to, I guess, pronounce me dead, I came back. But I didn't come back all the way. I just came back enough to have a pulse and a heartbeat that they could tell. And so they kept working on me. And during that time, when it first happened, the image that came to me was that I was, as you say, looking down at everything and these people taking care of me and my body, and I'm there, but I'm not there. I'm above there. So I'm above looking down. And the weirdest part of it was, and a lot of people have described like a silver cord that goes back from like your spirit to your, it was more of like a light cord basically, to me. And it was like connecting the two, but I couldn't tell that I was really dead, because I didn't feel dead. I didn't feel judgment or loathing or all the human emotion baggage. I didn't feel any of that. And actually I felt love, and I felt warm. It was like laying on a beach in the sun. And it wasn't like I had all these people around me and they were like, oh, hey, welcome to heaven. And no, it was, that's why I kind of laughed earlier when we were talking, when you started this, is because I had that distinct thought of, I had been raised in certain religions, and there's this heaven and there's all this stuff. And when here I'm out of my body and I'm floating around in this astral place, and I could hear voices and not really hear them, but I could sense what they were saying. And what came to me is none of what I had been told to believe or taught to believe was what I was experiencing. And so that was the other reason I never wanted to talk about it, because I didn't know. I thought I was, in essence, crazy. And then I start dating a woman who talks to dead people, and I realize I'm not necessarily crazy.